Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal, and this is your latest news update. So, back in the day, I used to absolutely hate the international break, but over the last couple of seasons, I actually don't mind it. And since that Dubai break, how we did after that Dubai break, nowadays I just want Arsenal to have a break every single 3 weeks to 1 month. I literally don't mind. It gives the players time to recover, it gives players time to recharge the batteries and all that. So, I am pretty happy that the international break has come at this time, perfect time right before the business end of the season where we're going to play the likes of Man City and Bayern Munich and all those guys. So it's going to be a busy end to this season. But there's a lot to talk about. Even though Arsenal is not playing anytime soon, there's still a lot to talk about, including players who are supposed to go for the international break but have backed out because of different reasons. And the first one you're going to talk about is Gabriel. So Fabrizio Romano has just confirmed this today. Arsenal defender Gabriel withdraws from our Brazil squad due to injury, Brazilian Federation announcing. So yeah, we don't really care about the replacement. But if you want to know that, Bremer of Juventus has replaced him. Gabriel is not going to go for the international break. Apparently picked up an injury. Some are saying they saw him limping in the FC Porto game. Listen, if it means he doesn't go for the international break, even if it's a knock, that is absolutely fine, because players like De Bruyne, they're not going. He's not going for the Belgium international games. Nunes has also backed out pulled out of the international break as well with Uruguay. So all these other teams I usually see over the last 2-3 years, whenever there's like a slight knock or something, they never go for the international break. And for us, most of our players usually go either way. So it's great to see that the players are kind of committing more to the club. And if they have any knocks, they don't want to take any risks. And Gabriel has done exactly that. He's decided to stay. And he's not the only player who's not going for the international break. His other two teammates are going for the Brazil games as well. That is Gabriel Martinelli, who obviously got injured against Sheffield United, and Gabriel Jesus as well is not going for the Brazilian friendly matches. On top of that, Thomas Partey has also pulled out. Takehiro Tomiyasu is not picked for the Japan squad as well. We're going to talk about all of them in this video. So that's good for us. Those are 6 players remaining back. And remember, the likes of Timber here as well, the likes of Smith Rowe here. So we have like 10 to 15 players who remain back, which is great news for us. And for the likes of Gabriel, even if they were traveling, this time they're not traveling to like South America, those long distances. No, they actually think playing England at Wembley and stuff. So luckily they weren't going to travel too long. But either way, I think it's better for him to stay with the Arsenal team and keep on doing the work, recover from the injury, and get to do some few things here and there, the likes of Timber and Arteta and everyone else in the team. So that's kind of scared people. Like, is Gabriel seriously injured? That's going to be a killer for our season. Are they watching? Are they still watching? Listen, sometimes you have to really pretend like the injury is serious so that they don't go for the international break. So Sami Mokbel has this to say. Sami Mokbel has just confirmed that Gabriel Magalhaes' withdrawal from the Brazil squad is not due to serious injury, more of a precaution. A problem described as genuine but not too bad. Magalhaes has been carrying a foot issue, but no confirmation of the specific issue linked to his withdrawal. So there is a genuine injury. You're not just pretending, but in terms of not wanting to take risks, that's why he's not going for the international break. So I think he'll definitely need that 2-week break. Him and Saliba have been playing every single game this season. The only time Gabriel missed was the beginning of the season, 3 games or something. But since then, they've been playing every single game. Even games like PSV, when you'd already gone through games you thought they weren't going to play, they played both of them. So it's good for them to get a break here and there. And this is a great time for Gabriel to have like a week's rest and then train more with the team and the rest of the and the rest of the coaching staff and all that. So Gabriel not going for the international break. Great news for us. Not a serious injury, nothing to worry about. So that is great as well. Very important player. Saliba, we lost Saliba last season, and we saw what happened. So Gabriel is a player that we need to stay fit the whole season, and he's been a very, very good asset for us the last 2 seasons. And since he came actually in 2020, but the last 2 seasons, he's really like stamped his authority in that team. And yesterday when I did the video, yesterday's video, Nketiah and Nelson are talking about how good Gabriel is, and they actually said he's the best defender in the world right now. So that shows you how important he is to the team. Now, he's not the only player to have withdrawn for the international from international duty. Thomas Partey has as well, and this is what Thomas Partey did. This is the Thomas Partey news in terms of that. So Fabrizio also confirmed that Thomas Partey not included in Ghana's squad for the upcoming games, as he's asked to be excused from the game to gain full fitness following recent injuries. Also appreciated that as they want Thomas to be 100% fit for the final 2 months of this season. And this is a very welcome sight once again, because there's so many of our players who've picked up injuries during international breaks. During the World Cup, that's when Jesus picked up that fast knee injury. Tomiyasu, he went to the Asian Cup, came back. We've not seen him since. Picked up the injury in Japan. Partey got like 2 injuries playing for Ghana or something. So those injuries happening during the international break, it's kind of a killer. So Thomas Partey staying back and working with the team for another 2 weeks. By the time we come back and start playing the likes of Man City, he'll be fully fit and will know how to manage his minutes and hopefully can stay fit until the end of the season. That can only be beneficial for us. Now, as I always say in every single video, talk about the international teams and injuries. I'm an Arsenal fan. I am not a Ghana fan, or a Brazil fan, or an England fan, or a Nigeria fan, or an Argentinian fan, or Australian fan. No, my team is Arsenal. So I care more about how these players are playing for Arsenal. And if it means they're missing the international games, as long as they play for Arsenal. But there's a difference. I still want these players to play for the international teams and, continue making their name and enjoy and go out there and win more trophies and get more experience. I still want them to do that. But in such situations like right now, they're going to play friendly matches. Do they really have to go and play? If Ghana trying to qualify for the African Cup, or Japan are trying to qualify for the Asian Cup, or Brazil are trying to qualify for the Copa America, or France are trying to qualify for the World Cup, that is fine. I'd be okay if Partey is going to play, or Tomiyasu is going to play, or Rice is going to play. That is fine. They have to play for the international teams and represent. And in terms of football, I don't think there's a bigger deal than playing for your country and representing a country. Most players really love that, and you definitely understand why. Like, representing your country, that's a big thing. But right now, Partey's been injured for a long time, and I think that break can only do him well. Imagine if you went for the international break again and played for Ghana, and then he plays 90 minutes, and then picks up another knock, and then he comes back, he misses another 6 weeks. The season is over. Too much. So it's great to see that it's fully committed to the cause in terms of Arsenal, and he's been able to pull out of the Ghana squad, and he's going to remain with the team as well. So Gabriel Magalhaes staying back, Partey staying back, Martinelli, I think by next week he should be okay. Jesus staying back as well, and this one as well. We've talked about the Tomiyasu. Ben White as well is not going anywhere, and there's been a bit of a talk about him recently. The last 1 week he's been trending because of the new contract and the Southgate situation and England call-up situation. But the commitment this guy has, reading this article, is absolutely incredible. So the Athletic had this article on Ben White today, saying Jurriën Timber's ACL injury on the opening day of the season has meant Ben White having to play more football than anticipated. By mid-match, he has already accumulated more than 3,000 minutes in all competitions, despite carrying a knee problem for much of the campaign. So this is a committed player. Like, I always hear that he never talks about getting injured. Even if he's injured, he never says it because he really wants to play. And he's a player who will always be there. He's always been there for us. It's only this one where he missed like 2 games or something, but since he came to Arsenal 3 years ago, he's always been there. Always been there. Center back, right back, whichever place we want him to play, he's there. Every single game where it's coming on, or starting the game, he's always there. And this season, the plan was potentially to rotate. Ben White plays today, doesn't play tomorrow. Man City do this, Diaz plays today, Stones plays tomorrow, the next day Akanji plays, the next day Ake plays, then Walker starts here, then the Carabao Cup Lewis starts. They changed the team a lot. So for us, especially this season, Gabriel, Saliba, and Bernat always have to play because our other defenders have been injured. In Zinchenko and Tomiyasu and Timber, they've all been injured. So if Timber and Tomiyasu recover, Ben White doesn't have to play every single game, and he can manage his minutes more. And more on the article. This season, Ben White has developed into one of Arsenal's leaders. Staff were pleasantly surprised when during a preseason training session, White laid down the law to some of the younger players. In the pre-match huddle, is increasingly one of the voices speaking up. So you can see how important he is for us. I am really, really happy that he signed a new contract. Sad that Southgate issue came out during his contract, because we never really got to celebrate that enough. Is a very important player. This is a player who can stay staying here for 5 to 10 years and continue building that bond with Saliba and Gabriel. It can only be beneficial for us. And Tomiyasu and Timber returning, it can only even be more beneficial for us, because now we can rotate all of them. We can actually have a game where we play Gabriel and Ben White as centre backs, and then Tomiyasu at right back, maybe Zinchenko at left back, he rests Saliba. Maybe not this time in the next 2 months, because we have some really crucial games. But I'm saying, listen, you have Aston Villa, Brighton, Bayern Munich, Luton at home. You can afford to rest like a Ben White and play like a Tomiyasu. That's not too much of a difference. So you can afford to rest like Gabriel right now is injured. You play Kiwi at centre back, it's Saliba, and then you still have Ben White and Tomiyasu at left back, or Timber at left back. It still works out. So Ben White, I've never really there was a time he was my favorite Arsenal player. Since then, Odegaard has kind of overtaken him on that list. But I absolutely love all these players. It's not a big gap at all. Like Ben White, Odegaard, all these guys, I absolutely love them. They've basically changed the direction of the club, and Ben White is very underrated. And people talk about best right backs, there's still people who are putting him like number 7 or 8 on the list. They'll say Trent, they'll say Walker, they'll say Reece James, they'll say Trippier, and then they'll say Pedro Porro, and then they maybe even say Dalot and Bissaka, and then they'll mention Ben White 7th or 8th. But I'm telling you, in terms of the Premier League, Ben White is definitely top 3 Premier League right backs right now. And right now, I'd say maybe Trent is the only one ahead of him. I definitely have Ben White in my top 2, and he should definitely be playing for England. Unfortunately, there's a lot going on there, but it's beneficial for us. It's a positive for us, because he can rest for 2-3 weeks and then come back fresh for the next 2 months. So that's the latest on Ben White. Absolutely love him. Now, a bit of transfer news. Yesterday, make sure to check yesterday's video out. We talked about all the transfer plans that came out yesterday from various sources. Talked about the players we're linked to in terms of strikers and wingers, and what you're trying to do in terms of midfield. But we also talked about players who could end up leaving, and we talked about Reece Nelson yesterday. He's been linked to a Premier League team. Today, it's Nketiah. There's actually 4 teams who want Nketiah, and this is the latest. So according to reports on Nketiah, let's see. It is not popping up on screen for me. I'm sure it's popping out for you. So here we go. So Nketiah could leave Arsenal this summer, and has already been informed that he's free to find a new club. Team talk can reveal that Wolves are among the Premier League sides chasing him, while Crystal Palace, Fulham, Brentford all hold an interest. So Crystal Palace, Fulham, Brentford, and Wolves all want Nketiah. I remember, was it last season? Yeah, last season Crystal Palace wanted Nketiah. Brentford, this is the first time I'm hearing about Brentford. Fulham as well. Wolves, there's a time they wanted, I think it was Maitland-Niles, but not Nketiah. But in terms of Brentford, if Tony leaves, I can see Nketiah fitting in there. Fulham, I mean, that Muniz guy is doing well at the moment. Crystal Palace is definitely a team I can see Nketiah fitting in. They've never really had an out-and-out goal scorer. You know, they've tried Mateta, they've tried Edouard, they even tried Zaha at centre forward sometime. They've never really had an answer. The likes of Jordan Ayew as well. If you get someone like Nketiah playing 90 minutes in a club like that, you can get them 13, 14 goals in a season, which would be great for him. But for us, we all know that we're going to get a striker at the end of the season, and Jesus is potentially going to stay, and we now have options of Havertz and Trossard who can all play up front. Nketiah has fallen down the pecking order. There's a time when Jesus got injured, it was Nketiah coming on, but now even if Jesus is not there, Havertz plays there. Even if Havertz is not there, Trossard plays there. Like, we have a lot of options ahead of Nketiah, unfortunately, and for him to continue boosting his career and get more game time, he needs to probably move on. But in terms of money, we have to wait for that. I'll be very surprised to see him staying. As I said in yesterday's video, out of like 4 or 5 players, I'm expecting like 2 or 3 of them to leave, maybe 2 of them to stay, and Nketiah is one of them who could potentially end up leaving. But let me know what you make of that. How much would you sell Nketiah for right now? If all those teams say, okay, we are ready to pay, how much would you ask for Nketiah? How much do you think is worth right now? Let me know in the comment section. But that's the latest in terms of Gabriel Partey, Ben White, Tomiyasu has also stayed back. Did I talk about that? Tomiyasu has also stayed back. He didn't get picked by the Japan squad, so he's always also going to stay back and continue training with the team. So that's another one that luckily he's staying back. Hopefully he's fully fit after the international break. And we've also talked about Eddie Nketiah's situation. Let me know what you make about all that. Thank you for watching. Make sure to hit the like button to support the page and the channel. Thank you for watching. I'll catch up with you on the next.